This is Building a Creative Life. I'm Pam Vale, a New England artist, bringing the world of creativity to your door through casual conversations with artists, creators, and everyday people, helping curious, midlife women begin their next creative chapter. I'm glad you're here. Let's get started. Today's guest is Nina Medić, a writer with a background in journalism and PR who is now rediscovering the power of writing as a personal creative act. In this episode, we talk about what it means to lose your voice and how you find it again. Nina shares how Substack helped her reconnect with her creativity, how journaling became a lifeline, and why travel has been a huge part of her creative reinvention. If you've ever felt like you've drifted away from your creative self, or you're wondering if it's too late to start something new, you're going to love this conversation. And be sure to stick around till the end, where I'll share a few thoughts that I think might really resonate with where you are right now. Welcome, Nina. Welcome to the show.
Thank you very much. Thank you for inviting me.
My pleasure. I'm so excited to talk to you today. And I have some questions that I want to ask you, but I would love it if you could tell us a little bit about yourself and what you do.
Okay, so I'm a writer. That would be like the simple answer. But for a long time, I didn't introduce myself as a writer because I started as a journalist. And I worked as a journalist for more than 10 years in Croatia. And I got kind of like stuck in journalism, and I really couldn't see like there is a way for me to progress anymore in that field. So I decided to transition to PR, which was like a huge change for me. But it was fun. It was fun because I could apply many things that I learned from journalism to PR. And I was still a writer in the PR because I would also like write like newsletters, web content. It was all writing for me again. So I felt good. And then this year I decided to do something totally crazy, to quit my job and to take a trip. And so I did. I quit my job, and now I'm currently in the US traveling. I do a bit of freelance, and yeah, I joined Substack. Basically, I was thinking about this question. A lot of people ask, like, why did you join Substack? And I think I joined really because I missed like a place to really like express myself, because when I was like working in journalism and in PR, I was like just writing for like others, and I really didn't have this space that I wanted to express, because I before I was a journalist, I was also like writing blogs. Even like when I was a kid, I was always like writing something, and essays, blogs, little stories. And I realized like how long it has been that I haven't like written something that I really want to write. And I wanted like a platform. I was looking for a platform. I first joined Medium, but I didn't like it.
No?
I didn't really like it. Yeah, I don't know. It was just too much pressure. People were like, "Oh, you have to post every day to 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 do anything there," and I was like, "This is not a." I didn't feel like I was connecting to anybody there. It was just like writing, I don't know, in vain. So, and then I find an article on Medium. Somebody was talking about Substack, how great it was, how different it was, and I was like, I'm gonna try this, and I like it. I like it really. I finally really, I'm like rediscovering this creative writing in me, and really I'm finding my way to really like write from within. Really, it sounds like a cliche, but really something that I feel, something that I want to, I want to tell people. Like so, yeah.
It's very
That's pretty
different.
much it.
It's different too, excuse me, from what you did with PR or journalism, where it seems like with both of those there's some kind of goal, or there's some kind of like a benchmark or something like that you're striving, to elicit some kind of reaction, or you have to tell the story or whatever. But writing for yourself, like how different is that now, like just having that freedom?
It's very different. It's very different because as much I love journalism, like I really loved, even if it didn't turn out anything that I imagined. I studied journalism and I have a master's degree in journalism. So in college, I imagine it like I wanted to study journalism because I imagine it, this is the way how you change the world, right? If you, and especially if your writing is your thing, like I'm gonna study journalism, then I'm gonna write these big topics and I'm gonna change the world. Uh, but yeah, then you start in a small newsroom, and then your editor sends you to write about parking problems, and you're like, what? What is this? But then you realize that it makes sense. Even the little stories about parking, they're changing someone's life, really. So I did. I finally, I found like a joy in journalism, and I really like felt good. But again, it's hard. Like in Croatia, and I believe everywhere, it's hard to be a journalist because you don't get like really to pick what are you gonna write about. You cannot prevent your editor to massacre your story. It's hard, like the pressure and how like websites are under pressure because they're not making money because of the content they produce, but because of the clicks they receive, the ads and everything, and it just became too hard for me to be like, yeah, to conform all the time. So yeah, I just, and when I was a journalist, I had this huge like blockage in me. I was like, I don't want to. I had this period when I didn't want to write anything anymore. I was like, this is like, I don't like this. I don't like this feeling, this constant like pressure, especially when sometimes I would like choose a story that I really want to write, and then I would be so disappointed by how it wouldn't be received. Like it wouldn't get any engagement, basically, because people really wanted. This was the kind of media that I worked. They wanted like short stories, dramatic stories. So I was like, I don't feel this anymore. And yeah, in PR, it's totally different. But then again, in PR, was I kind of like after journalism, I felt at peace because it was like, okay, this is I'm really doing what it is PR, and sometimes journalism felt like PR, and it still was like called journalism, and in PR was like it is what it is. So I'm like I was kind of relieved, but still, I miss that like part, that creative part, because although like the companies I worked for, they will always tell like, yeah, we want the creative, but then you have to like all these rules you need to follow, and as you when you have like some idea that you think is really like cool and original, they're like, yeah, but there are like thousand things we have to do to make it work. So just do this that as we used to do it. So I was like, yeah. So yeah, it's very like yeah when you love writing as because this is what I really love to do. I like it's my world, and then you really miss when you have to like ask yourself like what is this? I need some space for myself. And often when you have like a job and you're working like I worked 9 to 5 for like 15 years, you really don't have the energy and the time to be creative outside of that. Especially, you have all these other obligations in life, and it's just not, even when I would like, okay, maybe today I could write something, I would just be exhausted and rather like watch TV or something.
Yeah. Yeah. I would
So
think
yeah.
deadlines too. I would think, I know for me, having to constantly crank out something, even if it's something I love, like that's a killer for me. Like to have a constant
Yeah.
need to
Yeah,
produce.
yeah, exactly. Constant need, and yeah, it's never like enough. You produce one piece and you're like so like stressed about deadline or about satisfying everybody, making everybody happy, and then just another comes in like so fast. So I don't know. It was yeah, a constant pressure. But then again, when I found stuff, I was still working when I found Substack, and it was different because I think because of the community, because I felt it's really a space where there are not these crazy rules that I have to follow. I don't have to like produce crazy amount of content, but people are like really genuinely interested what some small writer from Croatia who never had an international audience is telling. And I was like, wow, okay, this is fun. So it's motivating to have like these kind of people
It
around you.
feels
So
very
yeah.
genuine to me. Like I know it's still sort of social media. I know that it might change. It's changed. I got on last like November, December, and it has even changed a little bit since I got on, but I feel like people, yeah, like you said, are genuinely interested in other people and what people are
Exactly.
doing.
Exactly. And I think it's the best we got. It's not perfect. It's really not perfect. But and it's still a social media. It can get you addicted like really easily. Like notes are basically really like I mean like they function like Twitter. But again, I feel like everything people share on notes it's so different than stuff they share on other social media like LinkedIn or Twitter or else whatever. So yeah, even there, I just feel I can be like I'm an introvert, really I am in my nature, and I always felt like awkward like posting. I don't know another LinkedIn was like I don't know. I always felt like I had so many questions before I would post anything, and when I would read what other people post, I was like, this is not for me. I don't think what these people will get me. And on Substack is really different. It's like introvert's paradise, really.
I totally agree. I'm right with you on that one.
Yeah, you can be like weird and awkward.
It's
So
even
and it's still
better.
like
It's even
okay.
better. I think it's more embraced, like the more you let
Yeah,
yourself show.
yeah, yeah. So I really like that part. But yeah, Substack is changing really. I joined in September last year. And yeah, I was like, who is gonna read anything how I'm gonna get like 10 subscribers really? Like, because I had no audience, absolutely. Like, because I only wrote in Croatian media, I had only like my few friends like really reading my stuff. I did like blogs and stuff. Like, just, no way, I'm not never gonna get like 100 subscribers. And yeah, and now I have like more than 600, and I'm like, wow, this is really
Yeah,
working. These people really want something different and genuine. So it really, yeah, it feels good. It feels good. That's the and I think, yeah, I've experimented, I said, with Medium. It's totally different story. So I think it's just the best platform we have
right
at
now.
this
I
moment.
agree.
And I think it's worth staying.
Yeah.
And it might change but this is like you have your subscribe, you have your audience, you can whatever happens, you can keep them. They will probably follow you wherever you go. So that's like good to know. That feels like nice.
Absolutely.
So yeah.
A lot of the women that I talk to are sort of at a midlife stage where they might be going through some transitions. They might, have raised a family or had a business or worked or whatever. And I would love if you could share a little bit about your like what led up to you quitting your job and like going on the road and sort of figuring out something new. Like what did that look like for you?
Yeah, I wrote about that on Substack, and I didn't have like this big breakthrough moment where I was like, "What am I doing in my life? What I need some big change." It was nothing like that. There was nothing like that, but I never felt comfortable working 9 to 5, and could never picture myself when I was in college. I was like really like terrified that I would go after college that I need to go like look for a job, and then it maybe will be like a job that will be 9 to 5, and then I will lose my freedom and just be a slave to my job. It was like really scary thought for me. Um, and then I ended up really, because that's like in Croatia, you don't have freelancers were not there when I started working, and this was like the only option. I mean, I imagined it to be then my only option. There are probably things that I could have done, but this was like something logical, so I did. But I never felt comfortable. I could never imagine myself um, like retiring at this job, like being there for like, I don't know, 40 years. And in Croatia, this is like people tell you, like my parents advise me, like when you find a good job, you should keep it. You should keep it, your job, like have a steady salary, then buy the apartment, do all this stuff. And I was like, I don't think that's what I want to do. So yeah, I was always like, yeah, kind of like questioning myself, do I feel good? And I haven't felt good for a long time, but I always thought like, okay, maybe I'll save more money now and then quit eventually in the future. Like I was, I guess, looking for like a perfect moment, which doesn't exist really. So, and I was always like, yeah, like reflecting, questioning myself, how do I feel? And then I was like, one of my friends was really like motivating for me. She worked in sales for years, and she had like a burnout. And then she just simply quit. And we were always talking to each other, like, are we gonna quit this year? Are we gonna quit in December, in May? And she was like, one day she was like, I think I'm really gonna quit, like this year in a month. And she really did that. She just quit and she went to live to Tenerife, Spain. And she was like, this is great. I like this. I was like, you know what? I can do this too. And yeah, somehow I was like, there will never be like a perfect moment. I got this opportunity to go to the US for 6 months, and I was like, you know what? I'm doing it. Why not? I'm not waiting for the perfect moment. So yeah, I think a lot of people like, I think I was close to just get stuck in this routine, and to be like, because I wasn't like in a bad place. I was like, okay, I had my salary, I could like travel when I was on holiday, I could like go away. I had my small circle of friends, and everything was like okay.
But
So
it
I
but it
was like, I
wasn't
was
like
like,
your dream. It wasn't
yeah,
like fantastic. It
yeah,
was just yeah.
exactly, exactly. So I could have stayed, and I was imagining, I was trying always to picture myself. So okay, if I stay, how would I feel in a year from now? Or I was trying to picture like in the past, if I quit this job a year ago, would I be happy? And then I was like, you know what? I probably would. And yeah, so I that's how I did it.
Well, and
So
writing, is obviously very mobile, which if that's your primary creative outlet, it's a wonderful way to probably like work through, thinking about making transitions and changes and then having opportunities to be able to have a creative outlet that you can take anywhere. I mean, you could literally do it anywhere.
exactly, exactly. And I was like reading, you know, of all these people were like, oh, I'm traveling the world and I'm a writer and I'm doing this and I'm a freelance writer. And I was like, I mean, I was like, why can't I can do this? This is like, why not? So yeah, luckily our vision of our idea of jobs are is changing like big time, and really more and more people are not happy at their 9 to 5 jobs. They're looking for, yeah, something a bit more, and it's so human. We really should have looked for something more.
Absolutely. I mean, time
Um,
is short and you don't get to redo it. So why not find
yes,
your like true calling?
yes, exactly. And then when I was imagining myself like working at the same job, like in the same office, like when I would look like for in 5 years, so if I was here, would I be happy? Like I was like, of course not. No, I want something like better for myself, right? So yeah, and yeah, it's motivating to hear from people like who did it. It really is. And it's really, we always imagine it. I'm gonna struggle. This is an obstacle. This is, and then when you do it, somehow everything like becomes so much easier. Like I don't know, you see like solution instead of
And
problems.
also things you
Yeah.
might not have thought of, right? Like you might meet people along the way, or, an opportunity might come up that you never would have even imagined because,
Absolutely. Yes, yes, and that's what happens when you. That's what I always advise people to try, even if when it feels scary, to just get out of your comfort zone. Just do it because then world opens up to you. Like when you stay in your little corner, probably not much is gonna happen.
No.
But as soon as you do something, yeah, a bit scary, a bit maybe weird, a bit different,
Yep.
then something always wonderful happens. And yeah, you meet great people, interesting people. You get more opportunities and you get another perspective. That's what like super important for me.
Absolutely.
Like you see things that you didn't see before,
Yep.
and it was so obvious why you couldn't see it before.
Exactly.
Yeah, and then
How
you.
do you get out of your comfort zone? Like what are some things that you do to push yourself a little bit or to not sort of just stay where, stuck where you
Mhm.
are?
Well, so I shared this story recently. I mean, not really last year. I do like a lot of like small things that are like huge in my head. Even sharing something that I think that in the past I wouldn't dare to share, like a piece of writing that I'm really like expressing myself and showing a side of me that necessarily people don't see. For me is like getting out of comfort zone. But also for me as an introvert is like even this podcast is getting out of my comfort zone really.
Yep.
But yeah, I really like experiment with small things just to like make myself a little bit uncomfortable, but not too uncomfortable. For example, like doing like a solo travel, that's like a big thing for me. And I decided on my past solo travel in Portugal. I was like, in the evening, I would for a glass of wine. And I was like in a bar and I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna approach people. And this was like super scary for me. I hate to like talk to strangers, to even when they ask me something, I'm like, and I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna approach people. And then I did. I just like there were like guys from Germany sitting next to me. And I was like, "Where are you from?" Like such a banal question. And they're like opened up. They're like, "Oh, we're from Germany. We're surfers." And I'm like, "Oh, we're here to surf." And then it turned out they're in the same camp as me surfing. It was like this wonderful moment. I was like,
That's
"Wow!" Like
amazing.
this really, yeah, really like this magic happens when you get out there and do something. So yeah, I do. Yeah, I try to do a lot of stuff like that. I do like solo travels. I did also like surfing was a huge thing for me getting out of the comfort zone. Um, I never did it before. I tried it like 2 years ago now,
Yep.
and I thought I would suck because I'm not like very like sporty person. I always thought myself of a bit like a more clumsy person. I was like, there is no way I'm gonna be good at this. And this is like, I don't know how this self-doubt comes, like why it's in my head always like I'm not gonna be good. And then I was really good. Like my coach was so thrilled, like you're like you got this. And I was like, why did I think I would suck?
I
Like
think we make
when you
such
just
a
go.
big deal in our heads. I do that a lot with jobs, with art jobs, and I'm like, I procrastinate and I make it so big, and then I do it, and it's great, and it's nothing, and I like worked myself up.
Yes, 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 yes. So that happens for me with me too. I just like spend this time like yeah thinking how the worst case scenarios in my head, and then I just go out there, and when I make that first step, I'm like, why did I do all that? Why did I think all this stuff? Why was that in my
Yeah,
head? And I think the more stuff you do, like that not used to do, like your brain kind of rewires and it gets easier. It really
I
does.
think
So
so.
yeah,
And I know
yeah.
a lot of the women, that listen to the podcast are looking for some kind of creative outlet, some kind of way to express themselves, and they don't know necessarily what's available to them. And I think I always forget about writing, like personally, but then I know when I do it, especially for something that's like a personal expression, I always feel better after, right? Like I always forget it's a tool that I can use, but then when I do it, it's amazing. And so, could you maybe talk a little bit about ways, like simple ways that people can start using this in their lives or use it as a creative outlet, or like, do you have suggestions on where they can begin?
Yeah, I would definitely suggest to start journaling. I think that's something I was the one like when people suggested or told me that they were journaling, I was like, really? Like that's kind of like I don't know, like childish. I don't know. I had this idea. And then I gave it, I was like, why not? I had this like, I was in kind of weird period and I was like, I have all these thoughts in my head and I just put it down and I felt like instantly relieved. And I was like, wow, this is amazing. And now I do it regular and it's kind of therapy because really when you start journaling, you can say everything. Like you can really, like your biggest fears, deepest like secrets, you can just put it out on the page. And when you do it, it has so much, so therapeutic effect that it's like amazing. I would suggest start journaling. I handwrite when this is the only time when I handwrite really, because I kind of like forgot and my handwriting is awful. But when I journal, I think this is also like a really, kind of like it makes it more intimate in a way and more like powerful when you do it somehow for me with the pen and on the paper. And I usually do it in the evening, I guess, because that's when I can like unwind. I can really like reflect and really like, yeah, let my thoughts like go. So yeah, I would suggest to do it like get a nice notebook for you and just open that first page, put a date, and just get it out there. Whatever is in your head, just get it out there. It's super therapeutic. And then if you like sharing, like try to why not try to start a Substack, start a blog, start anything, or maybe show it to your friend for a start and ask them to be honest if they can. And why not? Like, because we are so afraid that we are not we're not like good enough and that we don't know. Even like I write for like my whole life basically. And sometimes when I read like other writers and like great writers, I'm like, I shouldn't be writing. Like, I'm so bad at this. And then I share something and it resonates with people, and that's it. That's all it matters. So you don't suck. Like, no, you definitely don't. Whatever you have to say, someone will feel it. It will
Mm-hmm.
resonate with somebody. This is what happens when you open up and when you reach out to people. This is you connect, and because you will find a weirdo that is very similar to you, probably. And
Absolutely.
yeah, someone will say, "Oh my God, this resonated," and it'll make your day,
Mm-hmm.
and you will feel great. So
And I
yeah.
think we judge ourselves really harshly. I feel like there's comparison. You know, people. It's so natural to compare ourselves to other creatives or other people and think we're not going to do it right. We're not going to do it as good. But like you said, there's someone that will hear something.
Yeah, exactly, exactly. Yeah, I compare myself. I try not to do it, but I think it's so natural
Mm-hmm.
and it's in us that we just cannot resist.
Absolutely.
But I did, and I really, sometimes I would feel really bad. I would look at, and then I would reflect later because I would look like people on Substack who have like huge number of subscribers, and I would like, why am I comparing myself to these people? Like, what is in my head? And somehow I'll be like, I will never be like them. I will never. My growth is so slow. I was in my mind for so long, and it was like I had this idea that my growth is so slow, and then I was like, it's only slow if I compare myself with these people with enormous numbers,
Mm-hmm.
and it's really like I have this normal growth. I came with no audience, absolutely, and I have like more than 600 subscribers now. That's not
That's
nothing.
huge.
I never imagined it to be like that. So I was like, this is so silly. And then I was like, yeah. Then you kind of like what's wrong with me? But it's natural. I think it's natural. You just have to be. I think it's important to be aware who are you comparing yourself to, and be kind of try to be realistic.
Absolutely.
Don't don't go for like yeah the,
Right.
because
You
the
don't know their
a lot of
story.
exactly that's the thing. You don't know their story, and not a lot. Nobody says like everything. Yes, some people say
Hmm.
like, yeah, I gained like I don't know 2,000 subscribers in 1 month, but they won't tell you like everything how they did it. So yeah, and you will be like, oh, really? That how did you get there? And
Right.
I can't, and you just feel bad. Yeah,
Absolutely.
yeah.
And so you have a community, obviously, that you're building on Substack. And how important do you think it is for someone who's just starting out with creativity to have a connection to like a creative community?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think it's super important. Like that's why you that's how you keep going when you have like, and it doesn't really have to be, we are all like so focused on this number of subscribers that it's crazy. And really, if you have like 5 people that really read your stuff,
Hmm.
that's a great start. Or even just one for a start when you're starting. If there is one person, there is probably gonna be more.
Hmm.
So it's so important to have this support, and you will find it. So I would just advise to not like stop when it's quiet. A lot of people quit. They just set their on this unrealistic goal, and they're like, yeah, I'm here for 2 months and I only have like this amount of subscribers or whatever. So this doesn't make any sense. But no, like you should just when it's quiet, you should just this is how you train yourself. When this is when it's hard, you have to keep going. It's easy when your numbers are up and your engagement is up, but when it's quiet, you should definitely just keep going. And yeah, it's super community. Like that's what I'm that's why I'm so pro Substack, because this is really a great place to find a of community. No matter like what you write, really I see people sharing, I don't know, recipes, sharing poetry, and they all manage, if they stay long enough and are persistent enough, to really find their community. And I think it's even like easier when you have a smaller community, because it's so much easier to communicate with these people. When you have like 10,000 subscribers, you don't know these people. You don't know this. It's so hard. So enjoy this time when
Absolutely.
you have your small community, and talk to them. They're like the ones, yeah,
And
who will
I saw someone post not long ago, and it really struck me, like how you were talking about if you have 5 people, really talk to them. And I think the person had maybe like 300 subscribers, and they were feeling like it wasn't enough. And someone said, picture a room and picture like 300 people in that room there to hear you talk. And, it's so easy to think of people as these numbers, right? Like, it doesn't sound like when you see someone who has like 10,000 numbers, and then you have someone who has 100. But if you pictured 100 people in your living room there to talk to you or listen to you talk or share your creative expression, that's a lot of people. It like
it's amazing.
puts a different spin on it.
Absolutely, absolutely. And like just remember, because yeah, I sometimes get stuck in the mindset. Then I remember how I started and how I didn't think that even 10 people will join. And I have more than 600 people. I'm like, what's wrong with me? This is
It
great.
is
Come
great.
on. So yeah, it's so easy. It's easy to get in this like
Yep. That
yeah, like
mindset.
this mood. Yeah, mindset that you're just kind of stuck.
Yep.
So,
I
but
will
yeah, I think
I will definitely put all your contact information in the show notes also so people can find you and learn more about what you do. Do-
thank you. Thank you very much. I
Yeah, of
appreciate
course.
it.
Um as far as like wellness and writing and like slowing down and like finding your voice, are there tips that you have for people that maybe aren't going to do it as a Substack or maybe aren't going to do it as a business, but just finding your voice to like share your story in writing? Are there things that you can suggest that people do?
Okay, so when I joined Substack, I was like bombarded with this advice, find your niche. And this like for me was like, oh my God, because I never really had any niche. Like I was like, I wish, because it like feels like it's so much easier when you have like one topic and then you just write about it. It's easier. But if you're like me and you have like different interests and you want to share all kinds of stuff, then it's not so easy. And I was like, really, like, does this make sense if I don't have a particular niche? And then I was like, I really, I really don't need it. Like, if you just experiment, this is my advice. You should experiment. Write what's really like about your interests. Like what interests you in your life. There must be like 5 things or 3 things you can name in life that you're really interested in, and go from there. And your niche will like crystallize, but it doesn't have to be so narrow and specific, because basically my niche is writing now, and that's a great niche, right? So just start with your don't overthink it. Just start, write a few pieces, experiment, post it, see how it goes, see what resonates for people, see what where you feel good, and then pick it up from there. And you will get, and it's okay to change your niche, to change like your direction. It's totally okay. This is why Substack is really great, that you can really experiment, and you will eventually find that something really is really for you. So yeah, that would be like, don't be afraid to, and don't listen to a lot of advice that's like, just yeah,
Maybe in
try
all
to,
areas of life, right? Like just find
exactly,
what's right for
exactly.
you, right? Because we're
Exactly.
all
And
different.
find a few people that really resonate and maybe pick up something from them, but don't get like too wide and pick up too much advice. I think that's in the end you just get confused.
Right.
So yeah,
And I love your
yeah.
point about being able to pivot and change, because I feel like with a lot of forms of creativity, when people are just coming into it, maybe they haven't been creative for a long time, or maybe they've always thought about doing something and they're just getting to it now. But it's okay if you don't like something. Like if you try it and it's not for you, maybe it was just, the subject matter, or maybe it was the materials, or maybe it was the teacher that a class you took and you didn't connect with the instructor. Like, you can change. Like, you can do it once and never do it again.
Absolutely, absolutely. And it's not a waste of time. It's really
Right.
not a waste of time, because it's so important that you know that you don't want to do this. Now you can focus on something else. So yeah,
Absolutely.
people are like so afraid that something bad will happen when they. I had the same like issue when I changed the name of my publication, and I don't know why I saw this as like a scary thing. I was like, people are gonna be confused, I'm subscribed or whatever. But no, I changed it because I didn't feel that the name was right, and I wanted something stronger. When I started Substack, I didn't really know what direction am I going, and then it crystallized on the way. And because of that, I wanted to change my name, and this new name, right despite, came really like okay, yeah, this is what I'm doing. And then I did, and it just got better from that point, because yeah, I had more like clarity.
Right.
And
And you're a different
obviously,
person. You're a different person than you were almost a year ago, right? So I think about people that maybe tried writing when they were younger, or tried, I don't know, oil painting, or they tried knitting or something, but you're different now. I'm different than before I started this podcast, only like, a few months ago. So you just don't know. Like, you'll have more information, you have more experience, have maybe more access to resources than you did before. The world is different, so you just never know.
absolutely, and this is good. You should not be the same person you were like a year or 10 years ago. You should like something always, these small shifts like push us more, like go forward, and then we attract different people along the way. So it's good. Change is always at the end, no matter how scary, it's always comes with the, yeah, something like positive. So
Absolutely.
yeah, just go for it.
Other than surfing, do you have other creative outlets that don't involve writing?
Well, I would like to say cooking. Cooking is like pretty creative outlet. Maybe people don't see it as, but it is. It can be like really a way of expressing yourself, and really you can do a lot of things in the kitchen. And yeah, I grew up in Croatia when we have a pretty like traditional kitchen. My mom cooks like 5 meals, and that's that's pretty much it. So when I discovered there is this like Asian food, Indian food, Mexican food, it became so exciting. And you can, this is what, like, you can really get creative in your everyday life. You can get creative in gardening, you know. So that's like, yeah. Um, I don't really, yeah, my writing is something it's my main like creative outlet. And yeah, I guess cooking. Sometimes I do a bit of gardening. I really find it really relaxing. But that's pretty much it. That's it for me. And that's all I need.
Yeah,
So
absolutely. What
yeah.
about travel? Like obviously you're on a big travel thing now, and I know we spoke about how you live in a coastal area. Like how does that influence your writing or influence your creative output? Like do you find you get inspiration from traveling?
Definitely, definitely. I think, yeah, traveling is something that opens up so many doors for you. And you just, for me, if you travel, you will see like the world differently. You will, like, even the first time I went, my first travel was to Ireland, and I had like so many new ideas when I came back from that trip. And this is what travel does to you. It's not the traveling, I think the act of is what happens to you. You get in touch with like this totally new world. Even if you go, you don't have to go far away, but as soon as you, yeah, you move like a little bit, you meet new people, you meet different cuisines, you know. This is all exciting, like, and you learn so much from traveling. You really do. You really like learn how to function in a different way. And this, yeah, yeah, I think this encouraged me to be creative, like in so many ways. So yeah, go out. I mean, at least now it's easy.
Hmm.
It's easy to travel. Like, yeah, before we were like, oh, it's just for people who have money, for elites.
Not now.
But
Now
now,
it's open. It's wide open.
exactly, exactly. Yeah, in Europe we have Ryanair. You can get for 20 euros. You can get whenever you want. And yeah, this is why I advise people like just go out there. Just if you visit like your neighbor country, you will definitely learn something new. So yeah,
And I think you
but
also
also
like visually you like imprint different things in your head that you might not even realize, you know, if you see different architecture or different landscapes or um, just the way people live, different cultures, colors, patterns, fabrics, like all of that gets stored even if you don't realize it.
absolutely. Absolutely, absolutely. Yeah, especially when you, yeah, when I think a big experience for me was travel to Morocco because
Mhm.
it has so much different vibes, different smells, different colors. And yeah, you start to feel like new feelings basically when you're there. And you're like, "Oh my God, this is like a really totally another world that is like so close, but it exists so close to my world." And yeah, of course, like your brain like kind of changes and rewires, and then you realize that there is like so many different things you can focus on, and you get like, yeah, different perspective that like influences like basically every aspect of your life. So yeah.
Definitely. Definitely.
Yeah.
Well, is there anything else that we didn't cover that you would like to add or share?
um Actually, no. I think we got it all pretty much all covered. There is, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
I wouldn't. I don't think I have any other idea what to add. But
All
yeah,
right. Well, thank you so much for spending time with me today. I say this every time. I'm so grateful for Substack. I'm grateful for the internet that you and I can connect from so far away. Well, you're not right now. You're not so far away, but normally you're very far away.
yeah,
And
yeah, yeah.
yeah, thank you so much for sharing your experience.
Thank you so much for choosing me for your podcast. And yeah, it was a pleasure to talk. It was really fun.
Thank you, and I look forward to staying in touch with you.
I loved this conversation with Nina, and I hope you're walking away with the same feeling I had, that it's not only possible, but deeply worthwhile to return to your creative voice, even if it's been years, even if your life took a completely different path. One of the things Nina said that really stuck with me was how writing for yourself and writing honestly is so different from writing to perform. That shift from output to expression, that's where the real connection happens, not just with others, but for yourself. It reminded me that sometimes creativity doesn't start with a big idea. It just starts with a small moment, a sentence in a journal, or a story you've never told before, a willingness to say, "This matters to me," even if it doesn't make sense yet. Nina also talked about the power of community, how being a part of something, even something small, helps you stay in motion. If you're navigating a transition or feeling like you've outgrown the box you were in, know this: your creativity isn't gone. It's just waiting, and every small choice to step towards it counts. So here's your invitation. Write something today, just for you. No pressure and no audience, just your truth. Start where you are and not where you think you should be. I'll be back next week with more creative conversations, and until then, keep listening to your own voice and keep letting it lead you somewhere new. Thank you so much for spending time with me today. If you enjoyed this episode, subscribe for free and share it with a friend. It helps others find the show and grows our community. Remember, creativity is yours to define, there are no rules, and it's never too late. Until next time.